So let's talk Kat Von D holiday stuff. Both the lipstick set and the Star Studded Eyeshadow palette were waiting for me when I got home from Minnesota on Sunday. And yesterday I was going to do first impressions, but I ended up having to do a bunch of horse stuff outside, so I wasn't able to film. And so I did use it yesterday, and then I also did it today, or used it today, which is the look that's on my face, both the lips and the eyes. And if you're interested in seeing like how those products performed and how I got the look on my face, you can hang tight towards the end of the video and it will be there for you. But let's jump into this palette. This is what the box looks like. Her packaging is always stellar stuff. I think it's gorgeous. The palette was 55 bucks. I know that because there's a sticker on here. And the back of the box has the shades listed on there and stuff. Granted, I usually toss this type of stuff anyway. And then the actual palette looks like this. I actually prefer her artwork palette like she did last year a little bit more than this. This is just, I mean, it's cute. It's cute packaging and it's pretty and all that, but I kind of like her artistic, like actual drawing on her stuff better than I kind of like this one. But that's what it looks like. It's a star print in there. And then inside you have got a pretty decent sized mirror in there, and it says Star Studded in there, and it's all pretty and fancy and stuff. Now, right off the bat, one of the things that I don't like is, again, they included a plastic sheet over the shades, which is just kind of an annoyance. But on the other hand, these shades are printed on the back of the palette to refer to, so if you do want to pull that plastic sheet off, you don't have to worry about losing the names, because this is, it's a nuisance. So in any event, the eyeshadow palette has got 24 shadows in there, and they are 0.05 ounces a piece, which is usually what Kat Von D eyeshadows run in her palette. So they are a full-size eyeshadow compared to her normal size, like 8-pan palettes and stuff. So a good amount of product in there. Now, before I get up close and show you the shades and swatches and stuff like that, I'll tell you what I used and kind of how they performed. Yesterday, I used this orange and a variety of a little bit of the black and the Gothica shade, and then I blended out with this shade right here. Everything blended well. The pigmentation was great. The majority of the shades, when I tap my brush into them, kicked up a lot of product in the actual pan, and I was sure to tap off the excess. And there wasn't, the only shade that I had fallout after tapping off the excess when I used them yesterday was this shade Gothica. I only used just a dash of Black Star in the crease yesterday, so it wasn't enough to really, you know, give me fallout on the face. But yesterday the look turned out, I thought it turned out nice. A lot of product again picked up in the pan. Now today I totally packed on this Black Star shade all over the lid, and while some of the glitters did stick, not nearly as many that are included in the actual eyeshadow that should have stuck to the eyes did. Mostly of them, when I tapped off my brush, they fell off. I did pick up some without tapping off the brush and packed it directly on, and they still didn't. They ended up more on my face than they ended up on the eye. So, and I do use a sticky concealer as a base as well, and they still didn't adhere as nicely as they should have, and they did end up on the face. I used this shade as a highlight. It was really powdery. The majority of the matte shades in here are very powdery. And then this white, which I used yesterday on the lid, it's lacking in pigmentation, but it built up to be a pretty sparkly white on the lid. So I'm not big on the whole swatch reviews type of thing. You know, swatches are great for initial showing of a product and stuff like that, but as far as a review goes, I think they really need to be used on the eye to get a full gist of what they're going to do for you. You can't just swatch them and say, oh, this, because I have had some palettes, man. I have had some palettes that swatch absolutely terrible, and they go on the eyes like amazing. So just keep that in mind. But granted, this one did pick up a lot of product in the pan and stuff like that. There was fallout, which, you know, with Kat Von D palettes, all of her palettes that have had these glitter shades in there, way back when, to some of the first ones that she started doing that in, they've all performed like this. So I think as a palette as a whole, depending on the finish of the shadow, I feel that they're consistent with the shadows in her line. So like these satin shades, these pearly satin ones, they're a lot less product is being picked up, a lot less fallout you'll get with them, and they're real silky feeling, which is consistent with the other shades in her line that have that same finish to them. Same with the mattes. I found that all of her mattes are pretty powdery. So that's something to keep in mind. But I will say, as a whole, this palette performs consistent with Kat Von D shadows as far as the finishes go and the pigmentation. It depends on which one, depending on the finish of the the specific shadow, how it will be. You know, they're inconsistent throughout the palette, but that's because they have a different finish, and those finishes correspond to older palettes that I have of hers with those same type of finishes, if that makes any sense. In any event, let me zoom up close and I'm going to compare it to last year's palette, and then I'm going to give you guys some swatches and stuff like that. So here's the palette up close. Real quick, I'm going to point out the matte shades to you. You've got this one up here, this one right here, this blue and this purple. This one's more kind of like a satin, but it's satin matte, I guess. These two right here are mattes. This one here is one of those mattes that kind of has those little glitters in it that probably won't transfer. And then leather down here is a matte. Everything else is a satin finish, or these two here are the ones with the glitter, Gothica and Black Star. And tap your brush off, but you're gonna get some glitter fallout with those guys. I found that the purple shade, the glitter went on the eyes more sparkly than the black shade there. So let me read them off for you. This first one right here is Solar. This one is Nephilim, Damned, Division. This one is Platonic, Mandela. Oh, Mandela's a matte as well. This one is Depeche, Brass Knuckles. Then you've got Anti-Star, Estrella, Banshee, and Violator. Violator is like I'd say it's like a satin finish, I guess. This one right here is Black Star, Starflyer, Gothica, and Fascination Street. And then this one right here is Moz, Heaven Knows. That sounds kind of familiar as well. Crosses, Covenant, and then you've got Smiths, Leather, Craft, and Cult. So let's go ahead and swatch these, starting with these guys. Right there. This next row. The third row. This shade here, yesterday when I used it, it was lacking pigmentation, but it really went packed on. It packed on is what I should say. Packed on the lid pretty nice. So that is those ones. Now the fourth row. So these two are pretty chunky, these glittery ones, but the fifth row here. These three are all matte. They all feel matte, satin matte. This one's matte. These ones feel kind of satin matte to the touch. But hopefully you guys can see for yourself in the viewfinder. And then this last row. So here are last year's holiday palette and this year's holiday palette next to each other. This one over here is the Star Studded Eyeshadow Palette, and then this one over here is last year's shadow palette. So you can kind of see there's a little bit more fun colors in last year's palette, and then this year's, there's quite a few neutral shades in this year's palette, and along with quite a few matte shades, I think. So there are the two next to each other. So hopefully that was helpful. Now, are these my favorite eyeshadow textures and quality ever? No, they're not. I do have a little bit of bias towards the brand because it's one of the first brands that like high-end brands that I've ever purchased, and I like tattoos. I like Kat Von D's style, and Ludwig and Beethoven, I used to wear those like crazy. Their shadows, they are a Sephora brand shadow, so that is something to keep in mind as well. But I find that the pigmentation on the majority of her shadows is really good, although quite a few of them can be powdery, and a few of them maybe a little bit sheer. But I was like, today I was really able to build the shadows up and they blended, and I didn't get any patchiness out of this either, which is also good, but I did get a load of product kick up on quite a few of the shades. So just something to bear in mind, that I really love Kat Von D as a brand as a whole, and their packaging and all that. So hopefully those swatches and a little bit of opinion, I guess, will help you decide whether or not you want to pick it up. I would have picked it up regardless because I'm a Kat Von D collector and I enjoy the brand and the packaging and all that. So let's jump into the lipstick set that came out. It is called the Studded Kiss lipstick set, and these are 9 mini lipsticks. There's 0.04 ounce per lipstick, and these are all the new formula. I did buy 3 shades of the new lipsticks when they first came out. I got the light purple one. I can't remember the Coven. I think it's called Coven. And I bought Agatha, and I bought another really light matte shade as well. I sent those all back. I could not believe how dry and patchy and horrible they looked on the lips. Like, you would have to, like, layer it over a lipstick would make them workable, but for that kind of money, I just thought that they were not worth it. So I went ahead and returned those, and I thought, you know, there's only one duplicate shade, the Agatha shade, in here, and I haven't tried any of the other shades, and some people have said good things about other shades in the line, so I thought this would be a good deal to go for. Now I have Wonderchilde on my lips, and I suppose I've had it on for probably 2 hours now. I filmed this and I put the lipstick on and all that, like in the demo part of the video, and I can feel chunks of lipstick on the inner rim of my lips is coming off in my mouth, and it's like it's like kind of crusty feeling. I mean, it looks nice, like, if you just look at it, but when I go like this, like, I had to already take a Q-tip and wipe the inner rim, like, right in here. I had to wipe that off with a Q-tip, and it was like chunks of the lipstick coming off. Probably TMI, but that's what it did. Otherwise, that particular shade, it's one of the glittery ones. It feels actually comfortable on the lips. Like, it's not as drying as the previous ones I had tried, but you can feel the grit of the glitter in the lipstick. But nonetheless, it's a pretty shade, but I gotta tell you that's the only one I've worn so far because I did just get these. So I'm gonna go ahead and swatch them and show them to you guys. So here's what the little lipstick looks like right here. Super cute packaging, and the fact that they smell like vanilla is what they have going for them so far. I have only worn this one out of this set, and for some reason, these swatch and feel a lot creamier than the 3 that I had gotten prior. Even the Agatha one feels a little bit creamier. But I will say Wonderchilde, when I put on, if I didn't say that already, it did go on patchy. I had to keep going over it, and then it's got that kind of ickiness in the inner rim. But I did swatch these, so this is what they look like. You have got Countess and Agatha, which are both matte. Then this third one down is Adora, and it's got one of those shimmers in it. The Sexer shade also is kind of got some shimmer to it. And then here's Wonderchilde, which has got the glitter in it. And then you've got Bachelorette, Motorhead, Lovecraft, and Hexagram, which are also all mattes right here. So that is what, I hope my camera's focusing. That is what these shades look like right there. So the majority of the lipsticks in the set are matte. And there are 9 of those total in the set. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to have to play with them. For some reason, they feel creamier when I swatch these compared to when I swatched the last 3. They don't feel quite as drying. My first go around with these lipsticks was not a good one. So hopefully those swatches helped you and stuff like that. Now, if you're interested in seeing how I did the look on my face and you want to see how these products performed and applied and all that, you can hang tight and we will get into it right now. So I already primed my lids from the lash line up to underneath the brow with the RMS Uncover Up in 00. And now I'm going to go in with a Goss 18 brush, and I'm going to pick up this shade Black Star. And it's kind of got some silver shimmers in it. And I'm going to pack this all over the lid and just see how she rolls. I'm going to really tap my brush off with this because I don't want it on my face. And I can see glitter sparkling to the floor. But let's just go ahead and pack this on. And I'm going to bring it higher than the crease because of my hood. I'll show you something right now. You can really see right now. So when I tilt my head back, you can see how much lid space, and it kind of looks like my eyes aren't that hooded, but now look. They're hooded, trust me. That's kind of why I don't do like an outer V either, because it just kind of disappears. So anyway, pick up some more black here. I'm going to really pack that on the lid. And from what I can tell, I don't see I see a little bit of this, the black, or the silver shimmers, or they're actually tiny glitter particles is what they are. But they're not really a whole lot. They don't look as intense on the eye as they're looking in the pan. So now on the edge of that same Goss 18 brush, I'm going to go ahead and sharpen up this outer portion of my eye. And I'm going to bring that up kind of high here. I'm really doing the tapping because I don't want to start blending that right away to help avoid some fallout, which surprisingly I don't see that much. So that our shape is something roughly like that. A lot of product kick up in the pan, but it did build up nicely. I'm not seeing quite as many like glittery flecks on my eyes as I'm seeing on the pan, and that concealer is pretty sticky, which I have to use because I have dry lids anyway. But now I'm going to go in with this shade right here. It's called Banshee. I'm just going to pick up some of this on the brush here, and that's mega powdery one. It's a matte cream type color, but a lot of product is getting kicked up with these. I'm going to go ahead and put that right in front of the black on the lid and kind of blend that into the black. And I'm going to go over it with a different color here in a minute. I'm going to take that same brush, that number 18 from Goss, and I'm going to pick up this shade right here called Gothica, which is a purple with glitters. And I used this shade yesterday and it was really chunky and glittery and fallout prone, but the glitters actually transferred on this one pretty nicely on the eye. So I'm just going to go pack this right here. Blend it in here. Ever so slightly on that same Hakuhodo J5523 brush, I'm going to pick up that same Gothica shade on the very edge of that, and I'm going to lightly start blending out the black on the top edge here. Pick up a bit more product. I was going to go with like the oranges and stuff, but I put on pink blush today, so that's not going to work out. Blend it up to there. Same brush, I'm going to pick up a little bit of Violator, this purple over here. It's kind of a satin finish, and I'm going to put that in the front here. I want a little more purple pop with that black and stuff right here. I'm going to go back into this purple shade right here again on a Chikuhodo GSN 10 brush, and I'm going to really start buffing on that that line there with the purple and bringing it upwards. I've got a bit of orange in there. I'm actually going to mix a little bit of the orange in that purple because I like that a bit. Let's go. Yes. Oh yes, I like that. So I mixed the purple in with a little bit of this orange shade right there to do that there. These more matte shades aren't blending out that deeper purple quite as much as I like, so I'm just going to pick up just a dash of this Gothica shade again on a Hakuhodo J553 brush, just a bit on the tip, and I'm going to go ahead and buff over this here. Because I can see a little bit of a line there still. Okay, now on a Hakuhodo J5522 brush, I'm going to go back into this shade right here. The sheet is totally driving me crazy, but it is called Banshee. And I'm going to use that as a highlight shade here. I'm just going to put it under the brow and bring it inwards. So there's the shadow. I want something a little sparkly. I have this Super Shock shadow from ColourPop that I bought a couple weeks ago, or it's been a while actually, and this is in the shade Envy. It's like a purple with some glitters in it, and I have differential feelings on these, but they're best used with your finger. kind of over a shadow. Like when I packed it on directly on, a little bit of a review here, I packed one of these directly on my lids and I had to really pack it on with my finger to get the intensity out of it, and it dried like crusty feeling. So depends on, anyway, let's just take this here on my finger and I'm just gonna pack this right over the black in the front part. Can you see it? Very awesome effect going on there. Oh yeah. Oh, I hope you guys can see this. I'm gonna really pack some of that on there. Pretty. I'm actually gonna bring it all the way out. Oh my gosh, that's really pretty over that black. Now on a Goss number 8 brush, I believe, it's this little push liner, I'm going to pick up that Gothica shade again, and I'm going to ever so slightly, definitely tap it off, but ever so slightly run just a little bit of this on my outer lower lash line, like really into the lash, because I don't want to, for me, if I go any further, it'll take away from my cat eye. Now I'm going to go finish up the rest of my eye makeup and I'll be right back. Now I only think it's natural that I go for the shade the shade Wonderchilde from the lipstick set, because why not? And I'm going to pair that with MAC's Fashion Boost Pro Longwear Lip Pencil. So I'm going to go ahead and line my lips with this and bring it in ever so slightly. And then I'll go in with the lipstick. Now I'm going to fill in my lips with the Wonderchilde lipstick. And I'm going to bring that as far over the lip liner as I can on the border there. So there is the overall finished look. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to wear sunscreen and I'll see you guys later. Bye.